The studio lights were blinding, the air thick with anticipation. Inside the sprawling Fox News set, Robert Niro sat confidently in his chair, his gray hair a stark contrast to the sharp cut of his black suit. At 81, he was a living legend, Hollywood royalty with 2 Oscars to his name. He had spent decades fighting the establishment, a fierce anti-Trump voice in a world that had largely turned its back on him. His reputation was untouchable, or so he thought. Across from him sat Karoline Leavitt, a 27-year-old powerhouse in a sleek navy suit. She was a rising star in the conservative movement, a sharp-tongued Gen Z figure with the loyalty of a true Trump ally. She wasn't supposed to be here. Not on this stage, not in this fight. The audience had expected her to be another young face parroting Trump's rhetoric, easily dismissed, easily ignored. But Leavitt wasn't like the others. Hannity leaned back in his chair, a grin playing at the edges of his lips. He loved this. The tension between the two was palpable. "So, Robert," he said with a mischievous glint in his eye, "what do you think of the way Karoline's been handling herself in the media?" Niro scoffed, his voice laced with disdain. "She's just an arrogant kid. I've been fighting Trump since she was in diapers," he shot back, turning to Leavitt, his tone cold. "I stood outside his courthouse, spoke directly to the crowd. And her? She just prays and covers up." The words stung, but Leavitt didn't flinch. Her gaze was steady, unshaken, as if she had heard this kind of attack 1,000 times before. Her voice was calm but sharp when she spoke. "I pray for strength, Mr. Niro," she said, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that made the crowd pause. "What do you pray for when the alto nights flopped so hard?" The room erupted in laughter. The sharpness of her words cut through Niro's bravado, and for a moment, he was caught off guard. His hands clenched around the arms of his chair, his jaw tight. He had underestimated her. He had expected an easy fight, a young challenger who would stumble in the face of his experience. Instead, he was staring at a force he hadn't anticipated. Hannity, sensing the shift in the room, chuckled. "Well, folks, it looks like we've got a bit of a fight on our hands here." The crowd cheered, their energy rising as they soaked in the drama unfolding before them. Niro took a deep breath, trying to regain his composure. He wasn't going to let a 27-year-old take him down in front of millions of viewers. "I'm not done," he muttered, his voice shaking ever so slightly. "You want to play this game, I'll show the country who you really are, a childish opportunist." But his words lacked the punch they once had. The crowd, once roaring in his favor, was now eerily silent. The power dynamic had shifted, and Niro knew it. As the cameras shut off, Robert Niro sat motionless, his face flushed, hands trembling. Karoline Leavitt's final words, "You're done, Mr. Niro," echoed in his mind, the sting of defeat sinking in. The Fox News production team wasted no time, immediately uploading the clip of Leavitt's sharp rebuttal to social media. The hashtag Leavitt frees Niro began trending almost instantly, with tweets flooding in. MAGA supporters were quick to jump on the bandwagon, declaring, "Karoline Leavitt just knocked out Niro. Gen Z wins, Hollywood 0. The tweets spread like wildfire, paired with an image of Leavitt standing tall, poised and confident, her words still hanging in the air. Memes flooded the internet. One particularly popular one showed Niro red-faced and shaking, captioned, "When you think you're a good fella's gangster, but get schooled by Gen Z." A viral video, combining Leavitt's "You're done" with a scene from The Irishman, garnered over 200,000 views in under an hour. Niro, attempting to reclaim some dignity, tweeted, "Karoline Leavitt is arrogant, but Trump's still the biggest danger. I didn't lose today." But the damage was done. The first reply came swiftly, "You lost, Bob. Go retire." His phone was thrown aside, his hands shaking as he realized how badly he had been outplayed. The next day, Niro appeared on CNN, his voice lacking its former strength. "She's just Trump's shadow," he muttered, but the words felt hollow. Meanwhile, Leavitt basked in her newfound spotlight, hailed as a rising star in conservative circles. Her victory was undeniable. Trump tweeted, "Karoline Leavitt was fantastic. She just showed Niro and the fake Hollywood crowd the truth. Very proud." Leavitt's victory wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a sign of a shift in American politics. A shift that could no longer be ignored. The aftermath of the showdown rippled far beyond the Fox News studio. Karoline Leavitt's win wasn't just a personal achievement, it signaled a seismic shift in the landscape of American politics. The 27-year-old had not only outwitted a seasoned political figure but had shown that the new generation, often dismissed by older political figures, was ready to dominate. Her victory over Niro didn't just make headlines, it redefined her. She quickly became an icon of the new conservative wave, praised for her sharpness, faith, and unwavering loyalty to Trump. Gen Z has a voice, she told the press confidently in the days that followed. And we're not afraid to use it. Social media, where the battle had been fought and won, buzzed with admiration. From Charlie Kirk to Breitbart, the conservative world celebrated her as the future. Karoline Leavitt is fearless, one tweet read. She just taught Hollywood a lesson. Meanwhile, Niro's reputation, once untouchable, began to show cracks. His legacy as a veteran of political battles was questioned. At 81, had he become a relic of a bygone era? His aggressive response to Leavitt's calculated strikes revealed an unpreparedness, a failure to understand the speed at which the media landscape had changed. The contrast between him and Leavitt, her youth, her readiness, her quick thinking, was glaring. Critics couldn't ignore that Niro had underestimated Leavitt, assuming that his experience alone could secure victory. Instead, her strategic use of social media and her sharp, calculated jabs left him reeling. It wasn't just about age or experience anymore. The fight for influence now was about agility, awareness, and the ability to capture and hold the narrative. As Leavitt's stature grew, Niro's political relevance waned. His appearance on CNN the following day, trying to regain his composure, only emphasized how far out of touch he had become. Leavitt's brilliance had exposed his disconnect from the new political reality. The rising stars weren't just going to follow the old rules, they were going to rewrite them. In the end, the victory belonged to Leavitt, not just because of her words, but because of what they represented. A changing tide in American politics, where youth, media savviness, and the ability to control the narrative had become just as important as experience.